I've been that parent. I've been the one who went to leave my house and I stepped 1 foot out the door and then I couldn't take the next step. And I ran back in my house, back to the couch, jumped up, closed all the blinds, drew all the curtains, and then jumped back on the couch where I sat alone, crying uncontrollably and shaking. The anxiety had finally taken me down from their addiction. I couldn't move. My heart was racing. The fear and the worry that I felt every single day had finally taken their toll. And that day I had to make one decision. Can I take the steps necessary to help myself? Which is funny because in addiction, we know that the person battling substance use has to take the steps necessary to help themselves. They're addicted to chronic substance use. I was addicted to chronically trying to fix it. I know the pain. I know the pain when you don't know where your child is because they are homeless on the street. They've left treatment or they left the hospital or they got out of jail, did great for 2 weeks and went right back to the street. I know what it's like to sit here day in and day out and not know if your child is warm, if they have somewhere to lay their head, if they've taken a shower, if they've eaten a meal, or if they're safe. I've woke up every day wondering, is my child dead or alive? That's the current state of where I'm at. And I know what it's like to lose myself in their addiction because I'm so busy chasing them down and trying to be hopeful that I can do something to fix them, that I have the power to fix them. The truth is, we don't have the power to fix anyone but ourselves. We are not the savior of humanity. He's already come and gone home and is waiting for us. And I know because I'm a mother. I had a child I gave birth to, and within a few days I knew the cry. I knew they needed food. I knew they needed changed. I knew they needed to be held. And from the get-go, those cries meant something to us as mothers. And now here we sit and we see the cry of a broken soul due to chronic substance use. And we just want to pick them up and hold them and fix it. And we can't. It won't work. They are adults. How many of you have friends that have adult children? And they're out on their own. Their success is all dependent on them, not the parent. And when they falter and when life trials come, those parents aren't running and fixing anything, are they? Because that is life. Their kids are responsible to help themselves through whatever trial may come. But in addiction, we carry the weight of the stigma that families need to do something, parents need to do something. It must be the parents' fault that their kid is like this. It must be the parents' fault that their kid can't cope with life. They must have done too much in the kid's childhood and didn't teach them how to be strong and how to cope, so it's their fault. And then we deal with the stigma within the addiction community You are using tough love? How dare you? Your child must feel so alone and abandoned. What are you thinking? Or the other side, well, you're trying to use the craft method. You're trying to step in and fix something that you can't fix. You're taking on the responsibility of their healing. Both of those scenarios are untrue. But yet that's what we're faced with. I've seen it multiple times. The parents being attacked on both sides of these equations. The truth is there's no perfect way. There's no perfect way. And at the end of the day, the one thing I learned is for my mind to have some sort of peace in all of this, then I had to do what my heart could handle. And it wasn't until years later that I realized I'm holding on to something for my heart that I can't control. I don't want to live paralyzed on a couch, unable to leave my house. I don't deserve to live that way. I need to put my foot out the door to leave, to go buy my groceries, and make sure my other foot is going to follow. I want my blinds opened. I don't want to live in darkness. And the only way to do this is to help myself. To get up. If I needed counseling, I went. If I need time away, I went. I cannot fear living because my child is stuck in a non-living situation. Yeah, she's alive still, thank you, Lord, but she's not living. And I'm sure so many out there understand what that means. We deserve some sort of peace. We don't have to live as captives to an addiction we don't have. So what are you going to do today to help yourself? What's the first step that you're going to take? And then what can you do to make sure that the next step follows? It all starts with one step. We only have one life here. We cannot waste it away trying to control something that is completely uncontrollable. We are no longer parenting these adults. Those days have passed. We are now here to be a supportive parent. How do you be supportive in addiction? You just make sure they know you still love them. And your love is not dependent on what you do for them. Because love is something internal. It's in your heart. It's that feeling, that hope you have for them. I still hope for you to heal. I believe in you. I know you are capable of getting through this. You deserve recovery. You are an amazing person who can use their story to help others. You have the strength to walk into detox and commit to treatment. And you have the strength to live in a sober living environment without being tempted into relapse. Oh boy, they're going to face that every day, aren't they? Every day. And that's been my biggest thing lately is how am I ever going to move past the worry even when they're in recovery? Because I know that every day you have to choose to live sober. And everything I do now is out of love. if I just simply am sending a text that says, I love you. I mean it. These aren't hollow words, but that's the extent of my support at this time. It's still support. I don't want parents to be thinking every time I turn around I'm reading or talking to another parent who says, I can't do this anymore, and they want out. Well, you need to walk out of the addiction. That's what you need out of. I have people in my life who have told their child, do not contact me for 2 years. 2 years into your recovery. I have people that flew all over to visit their kid in whatever state they were in to make sure they spent time with them, because to them that's how they felt they were helping. And in both of these scenarios, I know parents who have buried their child. Their way helped them. It helped them cope with the living grief they were dealing with their child in addiction. What can you do to help yourself today? What's the one step you can take to move past this imprisonment that addiction has put you in and to begin to live free?